with expressionsvinyl.com, and today I wanted to cover a little bit about transfer tape. There are so many different types of transfer tape out there, and a lot of times we've all tried different ones on different types of surfaces and had it react a little differently to the vinyl and to the surface. It's going to do that. Transfer tapes will react differently to different things as well as the vinyl. So I'm going to cover a few of those today with you. For the first one on canvas, vinyl will stick a little differently to it and the transfer tape will react a little different to it. So I'm going to show you how to use the three different types of transfer tape we carry with our Series 31 and our Series 51 vinyl. The Series 31 is removable matte finish and the Series 51 is our permanent glossy finish, so it's got a higher tack, higher adhesive to it. So I have the clear and the opaque already on the vinyl here. I'm going to put the paper transfer tape on these last two. So now we're ready to apply it onto our canvas. So I'm going to apply the Series 31 and the Series 51 with our paper transfer tape and see how well that works. So you just want to remove the backing of both. I'm just going to do both of them at the same time. And I've painted the canvas on this side with just a basic chalk paint, and in the center there's no paint at all. You want to press it down a little and then start peeling it back. The permanent works a lot better. It has a little bit higher tack, and so it's holding to that. And the paper transfer tape is releasing the vinyl as well. Now the Series 31 is the removable. There's some spots that aren't sticking as well, but it's still doing a great job at holding that down. There's so many different factors. It's not just the vinyl not sticking, the transfer tape, how tacky it is. So there's a lot of different things you need to consider when you're applying different things to different surfaces. So now we'll do it with the clear as well as the opaque. With the clear and the opaque, they are a little bit higher tack than the paper is, so that will react a little different to your project. Also, the opaque transfer tape that we carry, it has a different texture to it, so you may notice that when you're using different types of transfer tape. The paper just feels like a paper, the clear is pretty smooth, and then the opaque has a different texture when you're using it. So now we'll try with the clear and the opaque to peel those off. But because it has a little bit higher tack on it, it is holding the vinyl a little bit more. When you're just peeling it by yourself, it is going to peel some of those letters up. You can use your application tool to kind of help hold it down as you're peeling it back. That's another way. So as you can see, it does react differently to different types of surfaces. Here's the opaque. And this one again, it's got a higher tack. You can see it's coming right up. But if we hold our application tool to it, that helps hold that down a little bit better. And then the Series 31, which is the removable, so that it's not as tacky on the vinyl itself, but the clear transfer tape is a little bit higher tack. It's going to do about the same, but hold your application tool to it and it works just great. And this one's struggling a little bit because it's the removable, it's a little less tacky, but the transfer tape is very tacky. And this is where you may want to try a different type of transfer tape if you're using it on canvas, but it's still, if you work with it the right way, it will work. So with this one, it did struggle a little bit. If I'm doing canvas, I like to use the paper transfer tape because it's not as tacky. So it will release the vinyl if you're using the Series 51, the permanent or the removable that has a lower tack to the adhesive. The next surface would be wood, and we've all tried to put vinyl on wood. It can be a little tricky at times, whether it's smooth or a rough surface. Also, the stain or the paint, the chemicals will react a little different to the vinyl. So we're going to try it out with the 3 different types of transfer tape again. We've got our Series 31 with the paper, our Series 31 with the clear, and then the Series 31 with the opaque. Let me try each one of these. Peel the backing. This one is the opaque, right down here in the corner. This one is the clear. And then finally the paper. You want to smooth those down. This wood is a little rough and it's got a painted surface, so we're going to see how that reacts to each of those as well. So with the paper, it's releasing fairly well. There's a few spots, but as it comes up, stayed right there and left the vinyl on the wood. Now the clear, remember, is a little bit higher tack, and we're using the removable vinyl, which is a lower tack vinyl. And again, there's a few tricky spots on it. But again, just use your application tool, use something behind it to help keep that vinyl on, and it'll work great. And then the last one is the opaque. That one's holding a little bit tighter to the vinyl. If you can get that corner started, it will work, but you've got to do a little work with this one. As you see, if you just do it by itself, it pulls the whole thing up. So slowly work with it. So this one does take a little bit more work. I like the paper when you're using wood because it's got the lower tack to it, and you can see what the struggle that you'd have with this one. It still will work, you just have to kind of work slowly with it. Then the Series 51, we can try each one of those with that as well. It has a higher tack to the vinyl, so it should hold on to the wood a little bit tighter. Okay, so we've got the paper transfer tape here, the opaque in the middle, and then the clear up here. So we'll try the paper first. That one does really well on wood. And remember, we've got the Series 51, which is a higher tack, and then the paper transfer tape, which is a lower tack. Now the opaque, this one again is going to struggle a little bit. It will work, but that'll depend on your patience too. But the Series 51 is holding to the wood a little bit better, but it's still peeling up a little bit even after you've smoothed it down. And then finally the clear works pretty good when you're using the Series 51, the permanent vinyl. So my favorite on the wood is the paper transfer tape. It's got a lower tack to it and it releases from the vinyl a lot easier than the other two. So there's what it was like on wood. The next surface is glass, and all of the different types of transfer tape will work on glass because it's a lot smoother surface. You just want to make sure your surface is clean, and I'll show you how to apply that to glass. The one other thing that you can do with a smooth glass surface, if you use paper transfer tape, you can do what's called a wet application. We have another video that goes over that entire process for the wet application. Let me show you how this works on glass. So I've got each of the different types on here. I've got the paper on top, and then the clear, and then the opaque. And I'm using the Series 31 just as a demonstration right now, but we do recommend on glass to use the permanent or the Series 51 vinyl. But as you can see, because of the smooth surface, it works great with the paper transfer tape. You don't have to use any extra help to peel that off. The clear as well. Same with the opaque. It's got the higher tack, but it's still releasing from the vinyl very well. But let me show you with the Series 51. So that's how it works with Series 51 and then the 3 different types of transfer tape on glass. We do recommend using the permanent vinyl for glass so that it withstands the washings. So the next surface would be walls, and we've all done that as well. Walls can be tricky, just like the wood. Different walls have different textures, and the paint as well will react differently to the vinyl. For walls, we do recommend using a removable vinyl, but we're going to show you both the Series 51 and the Series 31. So as you can see, transfer tape will react a little different to all the different types of surfaces. So it's really just a matter of what you prefer, or just working with each of the different types to know how it's going to react to your surface. If you've got any questions about this, make sure you leave them below, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a good day, guys.